Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to create a new page from scratch. Come back up to the top and click on Welcome, and it'll take you back into the dashboard. Then you're going to hover over Pages and select Add New. And you'll see now we have a brand new page ready to go. You'll type in the page title right here. And you'll see it it generates actually the URL based off of the page title. And you can also separate this from the top. So let's say you wanted the title to say Garrett Test. It's automatically going to take that, string it together into lowercase with hyphens and things like that. But you could click Edit here, and we can have this URL be Garrett Test June 2016, or it's July now, but you get what I'm saying. And click OK, and that URL is actually going to be different from the page title. So just in case, for whatever reason, you want to just separate those, you can. The next thing I would say, step 2, that you need to do is actually deal with the page attributes before you start adding text and your content over here to the left. Because when you change the template, by default, it's just going to start on default template. Default template isn't anything we're really using on the site. I've gone in and, like I was saying, I've customized all the templates that we need already. So for example, if I were to select, Internet FAQs, you'll see that this new area appears at the bottom, and you're able to just over and over and over create these FAQ questions and answers. And so it's very important that you select the template first, because this area over here to the left may change. And to just make a basic inner page, you'll select right here, basic inner page. And you'll see that things have changed a little bit over here to the left. The first thing you see is the SEO plugin called Yoast that's very popular with WordPress. If you need to use this for any reason, you can go ahead and do so by clicking this triangle to the right. And it'll give you a snippet of what this page will look like when it's appearing on Google. And you can get very deep into this, but just for this sake, if you wanted to have, a keyword, you can do that here. If you wanted this to say something different than what it's saying right here, you can change that, and that's what's going to show up on Google. You can change the slug, add the keyword in there. It's going to change that as well, and the description underneath that. So that's very important. I would say the inner pages, if you're doing a lot of these little inner pages within a program, it's not necessarily going to jump up above the actual program name, because we have those kind of ranking a little bit higher and have a little more added importance to those. But if you feel you want to do so, you can go ahead right here. And then once you're done with that, after you hit update, or I believe it does it already, it does, yeah. So because I typed the keyword Garrett, it's saying the focus keyword Garrett does not appear in the page title. That's one rule that helps to give you a higher ranking for this page. Or this text contains 0 words, because I haven't entered any yet. And it kind of usually recommends around 300 or so. And you can get deeper and deeper into this, and the more you get into this and the more you pass these rules, it'll go from red, and maybe you're close to just greens. And the more greens you have, the more solid this page will do in SEO. So I'm just going to close that. And the next section is the table of contents and the anchor tags. So the first question it's going to ask you is, will this page need table of contents at all? And if it's no, you're just going to see the same text editor that you saw beforehand. And you can just put in your text here. You don't need it to scroll up and down the page. You just want to put in your text, your newsletter, anything right here, you can go ahead and do so. So I'm going to grab some content and drop that in there. And this is a good time to bring this up. Instead of publishing the site while you're still kind of wanting to see how it looks before you want the public to see it, you can hit preview, and it's going to generate what that site looks like right now without actually publishing it. So by clicking that, it's going to open a new tab. And here's our page. Here's my title, here's my paragraph, and you can add more paragraphs, you can add media and links, and I'll show you how to do that. But if that's the most basic template you need, then you're good to go. Then you would hit publish, and you would assign it to the program you want it to be in, and you'll be ready. But let's say you need those table of contents and those anchor points because you have a ton of information, and you want people to easily scroll. Especially on mobile, you have to keep in mind when you're looking at these pages on mobile, the screens are smaller, and people are going to have to scroll with their thumb, obviously, through more content. So when you have these anchor points, it might be easier for them to jump back and forth. And then I also have a scroll to the top at the bottom of the pages as well to try to make it easier on people. Alright, so when you select yes, you'll see right here that it says add a layout block. And when you click on that, you're presented with three different options. The first one is table of contents, and that's the actual list of the anchor points. The next one is the anchor content, and that's the content that gets associated to that anchor point. So when you click on an anchor point, it's going to slide you down to a specific paragraph. You would select this one. Or I just have regular content, and regular content is just a basic text editor that you can drop anywhere you want on the page. So let's say your structure had an intro paragraph at the top of the page to explain to people what this page is about, and then underneath that you have the table of contents anchor points, and then after that you have the anchor content. So this is just a good one just to have, just to put a basic paragraph here and there. So I'll start with this one just to show you. And then I also included instructions as well right here just to help explain that a little bit further. And let's put, we'll call this intro paragraph so you can see it. And then to quickly hit preview, here's our intro paragraph. And now let's say you want to start the table of contents. So you click add layout block again, and you hit table of contents. This again right here is an additional paragraph, I believe, if you had like a title description above the anchor points. It's just an added area just because I was trying to visualize so everyone wanted to do this. So let's call this, this is a table of content description. Hit preview. It must need to be associated with what we're creating here. Let's just continue down here and see when that shows up. So let's add the first list item. And that's our first anchor point. And we'll do one more. Okay, and so let's say in this example we just wanted two, and then they're going to scroll to two sections on the page. So I would leave these alone, and I would come back down to the add a layout block, and I would start adding anchor content. And then you add copy for the table of contents section. And this is a very important part right here. It says important, make sure these anchor section titles coincide with the table of content list items. That means that this word right here needs to be the exact same word here. It needs to be the same value, because that's how the code and the functionality is going to know how to scroll from those points down to the text.